They say readers are leaders, but it simply isn't true. And I'm going to tell you why. Hello there and welcome. Mark Castillo here. Welcome to Mark Castillo's Freedom Breakthrough YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to share with you why readers are not leaders. Now, before I get right into the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a beat on the latest up-to-date information on mindset revamp, personal development, as well as marketing tactics. This also helps support the channel and allows me to continue making videos like this. So, you've probably heard this before. If you've been doing personal development, you've probably heard all the big-time gurus or successful people, whatever you want to call them, say to you, readers are leaders. But the truth of the matter is, while that statement is somewhat true, it simply isn't true all the way. Because if that statement were entirely true, don't you think anybody that picked up a good book like The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, or Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, or Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins, don't you think that the people who picked up those books and read through them would be leaders by now? While about 20% of people that read life-changing books, such as the ones I just mentioned a moment ago, do become leaders, most people who pick up the same kind of exact books don't end up becoming leaders. Now, why is that? Why is it that you have two people given the same exact book, one becomes a leader and the other just stays stagnant? Well, I want you to think of it this way. Now, I don't have a clue how old you are, so depending on how old you are, this might take you back to maybe decades ago, or it may have taken you probably as little as over half a decade ago, at least for me, at least. Back when we were in school, we were given a book, we were taught to memorize what's in the book, regurgitate what's in the book by taking tests on what we learned from the book, and then once we passed the class, we end up forgetting 95% of the information that we learned. Now, why is that? Why is it that we take a class, we're handed a textbook, we're told to do assignments to help us memorize and regurgitate what's in the book, and then when we get the passing grade in the class, why is it that we forget 95% of the information that we learned? It's like, what was the point of taking that class if we're just going to end up forgetting about the information entirely anyways? Well, I'll tell you why. Because chances are you only took that class because there was a requirement for you to graduate school, and so that you can get a good grade. The problem is, whenever you're reading something, you don't really apply it into your life. In other words, the information that you learn, most of it you never really use. You never really take the understanding and apply it to your own life. Now, what is school textbooks, things that you learned in school from books that you were given, what does that have to do with reading life-changing books? Well, the thing about reading life-changing books is one person can read Think and Grow Rich a certain way, and then they can go on to become leaders in whatever it is that they choose to do. Then you have another person who reads the same exact book, but still remains stagnant and where they are. The difference is, it's the understanding and the application of the knowledge that you read. See, the book Think and Grow Rich, now let me just use this book as an example. The book Think and Grow Rich, it wasn't written any differently between the two people. It's the same exact book, the same kind of text, the same kind of book given to two people. But here's the difference. One decides to read through the book with the intent to understand the information and apply it to their own life. The other person just reads through it, probably skims a few pages here and there, and then when they're done with the book, they just check mark it off their to-do list. But they never go ahead and apply what it is that they learned from that book. The only way that books, information are ever useful is when you go ahead and apply it to your own life, is when you actually take action on it. So while readers are leaders, that statement is somewhat true. It's not entirely true, because if that were true, don't you think everybody would be leaders? And for example, like if you're in the internet marketing space, don't you think people that read, don't you think they would be making a lot of progress and having a lot of success right now? Because the truth of the matter is, it's not entirely true. Because when you go ahead and read a book, and not only you complete reading that book, you gotta implement what you learned. That's how the information that you learn is valuable, is when you go ahead and take action on it. So the next time that you're reading a personal development book, I highly recommend that you read it with the intent to understand and apply the knowledge that you've learned in that book. Because what's the point of investing into a book and then reading through it and never really taking any of the information into action? So I trust you got value out of this video, and you may or may not agree with me when I say readers are not leaders, and that may be fine, but what I will say here is readers are not leaders because most people that pick up a good book like Think and Grow Rich read through the whole entire book but never implement what they learned from the book. And that's mostly about 80% of the people that unfortunately fall into that category. Whereas with the 20% of people take the time to read with the intent to understand and apply the knowledge that they learned. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to click on the link below. It'll drive you to a page, fill out that short survey, put your name and email in there to get the free information on how you can get started on the journey just like I have. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can get all the latest videos that I will be doing coming your way very soon. With all that said, my name is Castillo. See you on the next video real soon. Take care, and see you around.